All right, guys, so I've written the article. Now we just need to publish it. I'm going to post this on WordPress, and I'm not going to do a deep dive onto why we utilize WordPress, but I am going to highlight some key features of the platform because if you're really going to take SEO seriously, you're going to really want to consider putting your site on WordPress. It's really easy to use when it comes down to it, and it's by far and away the best platform for SEO, for search engine optimization. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this article that we've written, I'm going to post it on WordPress, and we're going to go over some few things, last minute things, such as linking, such as how we can actually analyze for the keyword, and so on and so forth. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and move to the particular page. You're no longer going to see my face, so sorry, but what we have here is we have the article. The first thing that I want to highlight is what we've done with the image. So let me go ahead and close this. Let me do this. And when I click on this image, you can see that there's an alternative text. And I've added the keyword best hotels near Jokdalsaren. That's because this is what the article is all about. And that is the keyword that I want to rank for. So when anyone is searching for the best hotels near Jokdalsaren, this image is helping Google understand that this article is all about best hotels near Jokdalsaren. We've optimized this image for SEO. You're going to want to do this for any piece of content that's on your site, whether it be an image or a video. You want to have an alternative text to let Google know what that image is all about. It's like categorizing it. So you can see here for every image, all three of them, I've gone through and I've added an alternative text, letting Google know that this is all about best hotels near Jokdalsaren. Now, I've also added links, both an internal link and an external link. And you can see an example here in the south of Iceland. Specifically, I'm linking to a different page within my website for the word Iceland. And I'm going to go over that when we go over what the page actually looks like live. But what I do want to highlight is I do want to highlight one of the benefits to WordPress, because there's a ton of benefits to WordPress. You can actually add plugins, and these plugins are specifically designed to help you in a variety of ways. It isn't always SEO. It could be like a multitude of things. That is why people use WordPress, is because of the power of plugins. This particular plugin that I'm using is called Rank Math. It is a free tool designed specifically for SEO. There is a pro version that you can pay for it, and I pay for it. It's fantastic. I recommend it. It's very, very cheap. But the free version is really great. It's way better than if you've ever heard of Yoast SEO, which is a very popular plugin for WordPress. It's way better than the paid version of that. Now, with all that said, why do we use Rank Math? Well, we use it to help us kind of get a good snapshot as to where the article sits with SEO before we go live. You can see here there's a score, 74 out of 100. I never shoot for 100 because it's not a realistic depiction of what an article is actually going to look like. If you're ranking at 100 out of 100, it's probably because your article is like completely and focused on SEO without any sense of actually providing value to people who land on the page. And there's a middle ground. You want to have a really well ranked page for SEO, but you also want to have helpful content to the people who land on the page. Because it doesn't matter how good the SEO is, if people land on the page and they bounce back, Google will eventually punish your page and stop recommending it. So when you have 100 out of 100, you probably have a lot of things going on your page that isn't necessary. So for example here, the score for this page is focusing entirely on my focus keyword. And my focus keyword is best hotels near Jokdalsaren. I can't organically enter that into the article and the descriptions or in the headers without it coming off as really spammy. You can see though that I do have it in my H1 header, my most important header. I have it in there, best hotels near Jokdalsaren. That's the only mention of that keyword in this page, and I'm okay with that because everything else is, if I entered it anymore, it would be redundant and it would come off as spammy. I don't want to come off as spammy. If I were to change this to just Jokdalsaren, so let me copy this, and then if I were to close out of this and just add Jokdalsaren, and click that, you can see my score goes up to 89. So Rank Math is saying that this is an 89 out of 100 if we're trying to optimize for Jokdalsaren. Now, don't get this confused. This tool is not helping me actually do better to rank this article. It's not doing anything like that. It's just telling me on an informational sense how well this page is optimized for my particular keyword. It does help in some instances with SEO, and let's talk about that. I'm going to look at my meta description. You can see here I have a permalink called Best Hotels near Jokdalsarlan. It's clear, it's to the point, it tells the viewer exactly what this page is about. It's talking about best hotels near Jokdalsarlan. You want to make sure that your permalink is as short as possible while also conveying your main keyword or your main point. For example, here, let me actually showcase what exactly that keyword is. So you can see here, best hotels near Jokdalsarlan. That is what my permalink is. It's a URL slug. All right, so let's go back to this. I want to cover one last thing, and that's called the meta description. A meta description is a short description about the page before you even click on it. If you're going through your Google searches, that's when you're going to find a meta description. So let's just type in something like Forbes, and you can see here there's a short description. Forbes is a global media company, blah, 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 blah. That is the meta description for the Forbes main page. If I were to look for some random thing with Forbes, the meta description is going to be entirely different. So let's do Forbes. Let's do technology. Let's see if they have like a page dedicated to, okay, innovation. Perfect. So we can see here the meta description, innovation, talking about Magnus Carlsen for some reason, which is interesting. Or you can look at enterprise tech, same thing. Meta description is always going to be associated to what the page is about. If I look at just the meta description, I understand that Forbes is a global media company, and I get an understanding of what they're focusing on. This is telling me valuable information about the page before I even click on it. So we want to feed people valuable information about the page before they even click on the page. We do that through meta description. We want to insert our main keyword inside of our description, and we also want to keep it less than 160 characters. I always gun for about 20 words because that tends to keep us under those 160 characters. If you have no idea how to write a meta description or are afraid to create a meta description, you can go back to ChatGPT. And if you've already used it for the keyword or the blog generation, you can just go back to it and ask it to generate a 20-word meta description for the keyword and then insert the keyword, and it'll do so. Once you've done that, you're well on your way to be able to post. Regardless of whether or not you have rank math or not, you're going to need to have a meta description, and you need to make sure your permalink is what it needs to be. Now, outside of that, we could talk about schema here. We've mentioned this in previous episodes with technical SEO. This is an article. I'm not going to touch anything with the schema. This needs to be an article. With rank math, it automatically introduces the article schema to let Google know that this is a blog page. If you don't have rank math, it's not going to automatically insert an article schema. So you'll have no schema on your page. So that is a benefit to rank math. You get that schema automatically. Same thing for any page that you create inside WordPress. All right, so this is published. Let's go to the actual published article. Now, design is completely up to you. This is just how I have our blogs designed. You can optimize for your design elements. Maybe you're getting a lot of traffic onto your pages, but you've noticed that things are starting to slow down. Maybe your design isn't as optimized as it needs to be. If you're writing a really long article, you probably don't need a cover photo like this. Analytics do show that pages with that get right to the point rank a little bit better and do a little bit better with engagement. Engagement is a really important metric when it comes to SEO, because that's sort of like post SEO research. You want to make sure if your article is engaging, and if it's not, it's going to hurt your SEO. If it is engaging, it's going to help your SEO. And by engaging, I mean you want people to stay engaged with the content and stay there for as long as possible. If you have a really short article and it's only like, let's say 100 words because you're writing about the coordinates of the Eiffel Tower, that's going to be really short. Maybe the length of stay that people are on your site for is only like 10 seconds, but the engagement is really, really high. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. You can have a long amount of time on your site as long as your engagement is high. You can have a short amount of time on your site as long as the engagement is high. Okay, Now, let's talk about the last few elements of this lesson. We're going to talk about internal and external linking. You can see here right off the get-go that I've mentioned Iceland. I have that hyperlinked to a page within our site, and that page is our Iceland page. We don't have anything regarding SEO for Iceland outside of this page and the article that I just published. But this page is all about Iceland. It's about our experience with Iceland. It's got some photos. It's got some things that we rank for public transportation, food. It's just an idea to give an overview to Iceland. But you can see here that our pathway is all about trip planning. It's all about Europe. It's all about Iceland. So we want to really help Google understand that we're trying to have a page dedicated to Iceland because we sell Iceland as a package. We have Europe planning, we do trip planning. So it's all underneath that umbrella of trip planning. We do trip plans to Europe, we do trip plans to Iceland. So anytime someone's searching for those keywords within our area, we want to rank #1 for that. Now, with that said, by internally linking, we're helping Google understand, hey, this is a really important page. This is our pillar page, actually, for anything related to Iceland. So anything generated about Iceland, any articles, are automatically going to link back to that page, this Iceland page, because this is a pillar page for Iceland. So as we continuously do that, Google is going to understand that this page is more important as we link more back to it. Now, we also have an external link. You both want to include external links for your page, linking out to people, and you also want to try and get external links. When you have really good engaging content, people are going to link back to the page that you've created, and you're going to get an external link. Now, with that said, I'm linking out to Guide to Iceland and their page dedicated to Jotunheimen. This is a really great site. It's a great resource for information, but it's all about a guide to Iceland. So this is going to rank really well for anything regarding Iceland. It's going to rank really well for travel to Iceland, and it's going to rank really, really well anytime someone is typing in like travel guides to Iceland. You can see that in their pathway. They're letting Google understand that they have a page dedicated to travel to Iceland, driving in Iceland, and Jotunheimen. So this page is dedicated to help Google understand that this page is all about Jotunheimen, yes, but it's also relevant to driving around Iceland, traveling to Iceland, maybe doing a road trip around Iceland. The way this site is structured and the way that this article is structured, it's giving Google backend information that it's doing that. Now, the goal here is for me to, as a consumer, I want to get all of the information that I can. If I find a really good site and I just stick here and I just keep looking through and maybe try and find more information, like maybe I click see related trips and I bounce around and I look for more information. These are good signs. You want people to stay on the site and stay as long as possible. Google rewards your SEO when people are doing that. If they simply just land on the site, take a glance at it and bounce back, then Google's going to see this as, oh, maybe the site isn't giving the relevant information to the people. So they're going to punish it on an SEO perspective. But that's external linking. That's why that's so important. When you receive an external link, it's really, really powerful. It's really hard to get an external link because you're essentially creating content that's good enough for other websites to link. There are a multitude of ways to get external links, but creating content and getting links that way is definitely the hardest. So don't expect to get a bunch of external links with the content that you create unless you have really great relationships with reporters and you're creating unique content that you can send to those reporters to get them to link it. So don't make external links your goal with blog articles. Make your goal to grab more traffic to your site and then also to boost the authority of the relevant keywords that you do want to rank for, that you're prioritizing. So that's the nuts and bolts when it comes to blog articles, how we create them, how we post them. Our next lessons, we're going to start wrapping up this masterclass. We're going to focus in on Google My Business, how we're going to optimize for that, and we're going to touch up on a few other points. So stay tuned.